Level by Level Gamer here, and this is going to be another video on the PAP K3 Plus. Now, the purpose of this video is to take this thing apart. That's why I have an opening tool and this small number 0 Phillips head screwdriver here. We're going to be taking these screws out in the back, right here and here. You can follow around and find all 4 of those. We're going to be taking this thing apart, and the purpose for that, or the reason why we're doing that, is inside of this device there is a small memory card, just like this one is smaller, but smaller in gigabytes. But anyways, we're going to be taking the one that's out, that's in here, that's built in, making a backup of it, so whenever we change the menu or start hacking this thing or messing around with anything that's in the programming on this device, we have a good backup of the internal SD card, so we can always flash back or go back to the original setup for this device. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips head screws. I've never taken this thing apart or watched any videos. I've taken many other devices apart, so I'm pretty sure this LCD screen has some type of ribbon cable that we're going to have to be very careful of here, and we will go ahead and take these 4 screws out. Alright, so I've switched over to this slideshow format here for the rest of this video because it's easy for me to point out exactly what I'm talking about. On the video, it did get out of focus quite a bit, and at times you just couldn't really see what I was doing. So I cut that video short as at the point of taking out the screws. So here you can see we've got all 4 of them out. We've got the battery out. Got the back off of it, and now we're ready to pry into the case here. It's got your typical clips along the edge here. As you can see, I've cut my fingernails pretty short. Would be able to get in there with those instead of this metal pry tool. Also, a guitar pick works pretty well. Anything you can get in there, and you just gently pry this case apart. I didn't have any problems with the plastic breaking or anything like that. So now you can see that I've got it open here. Here are some of those plastic clips that go in right along the edge here, and you just have to be so careful. There is a ribbon cable that is connected to the board here, and it does look like it could split along these edges. It's pretty fragile, plus you don't want it popping out. Then you have to try to get this clip off the back here. I think it slides out at these 2 points, or maybe it's the type that flips up. I'm not really sure. I didn't have to mess with that, so I was able to keep mine on just by being gentle and just prying it up with the cable still attached. So now that I've got it opened, I just kind of laid it out to where there's no stress on this ribbon cable. It's kind of propped itself up along the edges here. You can see these buttons just fell out. The bumper buttons, the start select buttons, they just kind of fall right out of the case whenever you get it apart. But the main thing is just focusing on not splitting this ribbon cable and just laying it out to where you can get to everything. So here is the part of the board. You can see that it is a JZ4760. Now this is upside down, but it is saying on the board here it's the PAP K3S version 3. Now I don't know if that is actually what the board for the PAP K3 Plus, or if this is actually the S model, because there was an S model before the Plus model. So anyways, that was kind of surprising seeing that in there. Moving on to the card, right here in this yellow, under this tape here, protective tape, is the SD card itself. Now once you remove that plastic tape, you have your card. It just slides in and out. It's not really a clip that holds it. It's just kind of held in by the pressure of the contacts. There are some components right under the edge here, so you just want to be careful just popping that out with your thumb or your fingernail, or using your pry tool or whatever you use to just get a hold of this edge and pop that card out. You don't want to damage anything on the board. That's the empty card port or slot right here, and as you can see, here are those components that are right underneath it there, so just be careful. And then once you do that, you have a 4 GB micro SD card that was inserted inside of the machine. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to move on from this to actually installing the custom firmware.